One of Excel's particular strengths is its ability to create charts. In the file Excel 2, I'm just going to the sheet called Chart. And what I'd like to do is select all the data. So I'm sitting in A1 and I'm going to press Ctrl A, which selects all the data I'm sitting in. So it's important that you were sitting on A1 or somewhere in that data. Now the function key F11 is very good at quickly creating a chart. And so it immediately just creates a chart based on what I had selected. What we have here at the bottom is what they call the legend. And what we have at the top is what they call the chart title. This is the horizontal or category axis, and this is the vertical or value axis. This set of blue bars is our first series, and the set of red bars is our second series, and the green bars are our third series. And lastly, these light grey lines are called major grid lines, and they happen to be vertical value major grid lines. Let's go back to the sheet called Chart, which is to the right of Chart 1, because F11 makes a chart in its own sheet. So I'm going back to Chart where I started. Sometimes what we want to chart is not in a nice solid area as we just did. Sometimes what we want to chart is in two separate places. I'm going to select A1 to A4, hold the Control key, and select C1 to C4. I have to make sure that both areas are the same height. Even though there's nothing in A1, I need to ensure that the areas selected are the same height, otherwise Excel won't understand what it is you're after. I'll then press F11, which makes a sheet called Chart 2, where it only plots or charts one series of figures, which is 2011. When you create a chart, you can control how the chart is plotted, whether it's plotted by row or by column. So for example, if I went up to here in my Chart Tools Design tab, I can switch the row and column, which on this particular graph basically just puts my sales, my expenses and profit for that year side by side. If I switch it back, then it basically shows them as sales, expenses and profit. Let's go back to Chart 1, for example, and try that on Chart 1. At the moment, my years are across my horizontal axes, and my sales, expenses, and profit are in my legend. If I switch rows and column, now my sales are compared, and my expenses and profit across my horizontal axis, and my legend includes the years. So the horizontal axes and the legend trade places whenever you switch. So you may need to switch depending on what you're trying to show. And I'll go back to Chart 2. Besides plotting by row or by column, sometimes also what shows in the legend isn't exactly what we want to see, and I might come back to that actually. Let's go back to Chart. Let's add some additional data to our chart. I'm going to highlight D1 to D4. I'm going to right click and take a copy, but I could just as easily go on Control C or use the copy icon on my Home tab. Take a copy of the data, go back to Chart 2 and press Enter, and that's how you add additional data to a chart. And so now I've got two series, but I don't know which is which. Well, I sort of do know. The blue one's 2011, and when I rest on the red one it says 2012, but my readers won't know that. So I'm going to go for my green plus, which is my chart elements, and I'm going to ask for a legend. And then that makes it clearer that what I'm seeing in blue is the year 2011, and what I'm seeing in red is the year 2012. Now I don't really need to see the word year showing here. So what we can do is on the Chart Tools Design tab is we can go to the Select Data button. In the Select Data button, it tells me what this chart is based on, both here and both visually in the background. I can see that I've got two series, and they're my legend entries. They're the year 2011 and the year 2012, which is coming from here. I can see that my horizontal axis is getting its information from here, and that's why I got sales, expenses, and profit. If I just want to see the year 2000, if I just want to see the number 2011 and not the word year, I could change it in here back in my data, and the chart would automatically update. But I actually don't want to change it back here. I want to change it in here. So I'll click here and I'll go Edit, and I'll change it to just say 2011 and OK. I'll change this one if I go edit to just say 2012 and OK and OK. And so my legend now shows the much smaller 2011, 2012 instead of the word year. So you can edit legend entries if you wish. If I wish to show 2012 before 2011, I'll go back to Select Data. Now actually, with regards to the Select Data button, you can go Chart Tools Design in the ribbon, but you can also right click, and I don't want to discourage that because sometimes that's quicker. I'll right click Nothing and choose Select Data as an alternative way to get there. I can switch, just as I did earlier with that button in here. I can also decide that actually this one I want moved up because I want it first. And so now 2012, the red bar is before 2011. Or right click, select data, and move it back down with the move down button. So you can change the series order as well, quite simply. You can also delete a series if you wish. So let's say I went back to chart, let's say I selected B1 to B4, took a copy of that, went to chart 2 and pressed enter. And so now I've added the year 2010. Then I might look at it and think, actually no, I don't want 2010. Click a green bar and press the delete key. That's one way. If it's stubborn as it just was then, and it intermittently can be, you can right click and delete as well. So I'll right click and delete a series. To change a chart type, what I might do is I might go back to chart, I'm going to go to E1 and I'm going to type the word target. I might want my target for sales to be 10,000, my expenses to be 2,000, which leaves me with a healthy 8,000 profit. I'm going to add this to my chart, so I'll select it, take a copy of it, go to chart 2 and press enter, and there's my target added to my chart. I might decide that I want to change the chart type. To change the chart type, just right click Nothing and change the chart type. What you've got here, let me bring it into view, is a variety of chart types. You can choose column, and then even within column you've got subtypes such as stacked, 100% stacked, 3D, 3D stacked, and so on and so forth. You've got line charts and variations of, pie charts and all sorts of subversions of a pie chart. You've got bar, area, XY, map, stock, all sorts of different types of charts. What I might go for is a combo. I'll choose a combo, which means I can mix and match my chart types. I'm going to make 2011 a column chart. I'm going to leave 2012 as a column chart, and I'm going to make target a line chart with markers. I'm also going to make target go on the right hand side, so I'm going to tick secondary axis. And that plots the target against the right hand side, and the year 2011 and 2012 are being mapped to the left hand side, which is known as the primary axis. And I'll click OK. So you can change the entire chart type by right clicking and going change chart type, but if you want to mix up your chart types, choose combo. Sometimes it's worthwhile having a look at recommended charts as well. They recommend charts based on the nature of your data, but I like to make my own under all charts and cancel. Having created my chart, I now like to add some more chart elements, and that's what this green plus does. I might start with a chart title, so I hit the green plus, I'll click on chart title. Well actually no, I'll rest on chart title and click on the black arrow. I can then choose further options like I want my chart title above the chart or center overlay, and as you rest on them it sort of shows you, and you've even got more options. I'm just going to go for above chart, and then I'll simply type the year 2011 and 2012 versus target and enter, and there's my chart title. I might like to add some axis titles, so I hit my green plus, I'll go and rest on axis titles, and I'll simply hit the black arrow and I'll choose a primary vertical and a secondary vertical on the right hand side. My primary vertical I'll then click and edit, and I'll give it the label years. My Access title to the right I'll now click, and I'll call that one Target. So I know to read my target values against this axis and my years against this axis.